Hello and welcome to an episode of Friendly Film Take, the Film News Blitz podcast, vodcast, whatever you want to call it. With me, Dan Lawrence, and we're welcoming back Rhys Stacey, who's not been on for a while because he's been too busy being a father, which is obviously terrible. He hasn't got time to chat about films as much as usual. But yes, this is the podcast of Friendly Film Chat and Friendly Film Debate. That's why it's called a Friendly Film Take. And we're going to be talking about a bunch of random stuff today, I suppose, in the world of film and TV. But I guess the biggest thing is we're going to be talking about a certain wizard that's made a bit of a splash in the past week. First, Rhys, hello. Welcome back. Lovely to have you. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me back. It's spring. It's sunny. The coffee is hot. Everybody's feeling good. And there's so much good news around film and independent cinema and big franchise cinema as well. That it's just feel like there's a lot to talk about.
Yes, it's all good news until the Paramount Warner Brothers merger ruins everything. But yes, it is spring. We were just discussing before we start pressing record that I hung up washing outside for the first time this year, which is very exciting. Beautiful. But you are the father of a young baby boy.
Indeed.
Have you been watching any films recently, and how have you been doing it?
Amazingly, yes. But what is great is way back when you set up your Netflix account, your Amazon Prime account, whatever it is, and you build out your watch lists of all those things that you were like, oh, absolutely, I want to watch that. I'm going to cane through this. I'm going to make the most out of my $5.99, $7.99, £299 monthly subscription. What I found is films that I've put on a watch list from 10 years ago, I'm suddenly watching because we don't have the capacity to go to the cinema. We don't have the disposable income to be able to, on home premieres, spend that £20 to watch that new film. So I'm going back and watching all of these old films that I'm like, how is this sat on my watch list for so long? And I've been having a riot.
Brilliant. Take me through what have been some of the highlights of what have you been going through on your watch list and ticking off? Are these films you've never watched?
Films mostly that I've never watched. Okay. The only double up I've had is a film called The Void from 2016, which is this like culty Lovecraftian horror where a cult basically descends on a hospital, and then very much like The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing from 1982, it's body horror and gore and nonsense and random aliens and things like that. It's the second time I've watched it. I don't know why I watched it the first time. I do not know why I've seen it twice. It's not very good. Yeah. My son seemed to enjoy it. I don't face him towards the television, but bright lights and things like that, he's quite mesmerized by the wall. So I think he thinks cinema is lights on a wall, and that's fine by me.
Light display.
Yeah. His very first film. Pardon?
He's not far wrong with that assessment.
Effectively is what it is. He seems to love it. His very first film was a film called Possession, which is a very, very out there. As you can tell, it hits like 11 o'clock, and it's like, let's put on the freaky, weird horror films and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, this is a child who's not even half a year old.
No.
And he's being, I mean, there could be some baked in trauma here.
Possibly so. And the best thing that I have seen is a film called The Vanishing.
Okay.
I think it's 1988, and I put it on back when we were film students. We were told Stanley Kubrick said it was the scariest film ever made, and so I was like, I absolutely want to watch this. And it tells it's like a dual perspective film of a kidnapper and a man whose partner is kidnapped, and how those stories sort of intertwine, and then coming to the, trying to figure out quite what happened to his partner and the kind of inner machinations of this kidnapper. It is bleak. It is a phenomenal film. Dutch language film, phenomenal. So if anybody's looking for, if life is too happy and now that the sun is out, you're feeling great and you need to bring that right down, pop that on, because my God, little baby and I were just sat there afterwards going.
So that's been your highlight of your film watching.
I think so. We've also managed to cane through an inconceivable amount of television shows, and whoever came up with the half-hour format, I love you, because it's just perfect. Sketch shows from Tim Robinson. What have we been watching? The Manosphere documentary.
Yep, I watched that. Harrowing stuff.
Genuinely is I mean, half of that played like a horror film. But phenomenal. And then kind of doing a bit of a deeper dive into that. So there's another good documentary on the BBC, which is, I think, called Inside the Manosphere, which was great as well. Can You Keep a Secret? Dawn French. Craig Roberts, just a delightful little comedy. But Arthur and I's favourite TV show that we've watched recently, Small Profits.
Yes, I've been hearing a lot of good things about that.
Delightful.
Yeah, by the chap from The Office and
I think it's the Detectorist as well.
Yeah.
A lot of that creative team. It's this charming, what I thought it was going to be a one and done series, but it's very much set up for series 2. Odd, off the wall, funny, charming. Just a great, just really nice watch.
I keep seeing the clips. So what I'm hearing here is if I want to go through my really extensive list of stuff I need to watch, I need to have a child.
Have a baby. Have a baby.
I'll pitch that to Eden. We'll see if that's it. But here's something that will dramatically change our lives, be a massive financial outlay, but it will help me watch more films.
Yeah, the only caveat is that obviously you can't go to the cinema, so I'm still very much looking forward to. What have I got on my what really want to watch list? I still haven't seen 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple.
Bone!
Yeah, Marty Supreme. And one battle after another is sat. I've already got it purchased for rental. I've got another, I think, 6 days to watch it. So I need to.
Yes, I think you'll enjoy those films. I think you'll really enjoy Marty Supreme. And I think you will enjoy the Oscar-winning Best Picture. Not anybody. The Oscars has happened now, so nobody cares anymore. But One Battle After Another, I think you'll love it. It's very funny. It's very topical. It's long, but it's really well paced.
I'm into
great performances. It's pretty good. But Marty Supreme is really good. Really good.
I love that energy.
I went to see that in the cinema on my own, on my Todd.
How was that?
I enjoyed it. It was great. It was quite quiet screenings. It'd been out for a few weeks. Quite late
That's
night.
That's a long one as well, right?
What's that?
Marty Supreme's quite a long film as well, isn't it?
Yes. It does slow down a little bit in the middle to the end of Act 2, I would say. And then it spins up again towards the end. But very good. I mean, it hinged on an incredible performance by Timothée Chalamet, who's just too young to get an Oscar. He's just too young. He's not allowed it yet. So
we were discussing a theory on that Carrot and Horse, if you give him the Oscar at the age that he is, which is what,
he'll stop. He'll down tools.
He's
wired like that. I don't think he's wired like that, you know. I think he's got a bit more in his locker.
What I would argue is that he's now turned out 3 performances that were the best of their respective years. Do we think the incoming June Messiah does deliver that? Because from what
it's not the sort of I don't think those tend to be the type of films that get the awards recognition.
I hear you.
Well, it's out at a good time of year. It's out in December, isn't it?
December for what are your thoughts on Doomsday?
I think that's probably people in the Marvel marketing team trying desperately to stay relevant.
Fair.
Because out of the two films, I'd say I'm intrigued by Avengers Doomsday just to see whether it's a dumpster fire or how they bring it all together. Why Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom? Is it just going to ignore the last 10 years or the last 8 years of rubbish? Whatever it is. Yeah. So I'm intrigued by that, but I'm excited for June. And it's interesting that snatched the IMAX exclusivity.
What's the window on that?
So it's got IMAX for the first couple of weeks rather than Avengers Doomsday. But yes, that's that. I think I'm looking forward to June. It'll be interesting because obviously it's being based on one of the lesser loved. Like after June, the June series novels aren't as highly regarded, are they? And there's talk of him changing things and maybe melding a couple of books together.
Oh, interesting.
It's Denis Villeneuve's last June film because obviously he's off to do Bond after that.
James Bond, yeah.
So it's interesting. It'll be really. I mean, the trailer looks really cool. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's interesting. I haven't been to the cinema recently, and which is sad because I really want to go see Project Hail Mary, and Eden really wants to go see Ready or Not 2. Here I Come, I believe, which is quite funny.
That is, yep.
Good title. But I did watch a film I've been meaning to watch, and I got Mubi.
Oh, I love Mubi.
You got Mubi.
I've got Mubi.
Yes, I mean that's perfect for you in your current state. But I watched a film called No Other Choice.
The Park Chan-wook film from last year.
Yes, exactly, the very same. Obviously, he's famous for doing Old Boy, Handmaiden, films like that. Very good, acclaimed director, South Korean director. So yeah, No Other Choice. Basically, a black comedy thriller, and you've basically got a chap, and it's based on a novel called The Axe. Apparently. So anyway, you follow Lee Byung-hun's character. He's basically been working in the paper industry for like a quarter of a century, like his entire adult life. He gets laid off at the start, and then he's basically the middle class life he's constructed around his job with his wife and his kids is basically under threat because he's on unemployment. He's basically unemployed for like over a year. Because he wants to get back into the life of work he knows, the industry he knows. He doesn't want to just take any old job. And he basically, when it comes to the point of where he might lose his house, that is the house he also grew up in. You know, they have to give their dogs away to the in-laws to look after because they can't afford to keep feeding the dogs. His daughter's like this cellist prodigy, and they can't really afford to give her the lessons required for talent. So he basically comes up with this scheme to basically bump off a bloke who does the job of he can do at this like successful paper company. But first, he wants to bump off anyone who might be a candidate to replace that guy.
Have fun.
But he's not very good at being a killer. So you sort of see him wrestling with the morality of it, which is quite funny. But also stuff as the film goes on, you kind of, I'd say maybe he grows into it a little bit, and the film raises these questions of sort of like, what do you have to give up to chase certain things? And I thought it was really good. I watched it as the director intended in 3 stints across the day whilst washing up on my phone, which I advise against. Really, I'd probably say put it on the telly on your movie and watch it in one go. But really good, great performances. Interesting, the sort of social dynamics between him and his wife and his kids, and how sort of what he was seeing elsewhere was reflecting on his interactions with his family. And then, the messages and the questions it brings up. Also, beautiful popping colour, particularly in the first 2 acts. Really nice high contrast colour, which I think we might get onto when we talk about some other stuff today. It's kind of devoid in Western cinema. especially modern Western cinema and mainstream cinema, everything seems to be greyed or saturated,
moody and miserable. Yeah,
which is really kind of shit, for want of a better word. I quite like it when there's a pop of colour, especially I'd say like obviously classic cinema or like the golden age of Hollywood cinema was very Technicolor and
bang,
pop and stuff like that. We seem to be. I don't know why. I don't know why we've all. I don't know when it started, but it seems to be something that can't be shook off. So anyway, No Other Choice, really good. I think I'd give it a solid 4 stars out of 5.
I will be adding that.
Add it to your watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Because I think Park Chan-wook, from the films that I've seen, that sounds a hell of a lot funnier than his usual material. I think he's like dipped into.
It's not directly going for laughs, but there are certain bits where you're like,
this is so bleak that it's
sort of like,
fine, not belly laughs.
Yeah. But really good and good performances. I mean, it's just good. It's like South Korean cinema. They just chuck out bangers, don't they? Do they actually make shit films over there, or do they just not let the rest of the world see shit films?
I am of the opinion that I think I would hold South Korean cinema and then probably Russian cinema, maybe not so much now, as probably the upper echelons of creative filmmaking.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, I remember, what was it? In my film studies days, I watched, was it Solaris?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's a bit of a
phenomenal. Banger. And then I think
who's that? You're gonna have to tell me.
That was Andrei Tarkovsky.
I was gonna say, I wasn't brave enough to say Tarkovsky. I should have said it. But yeah, we should probably do a deep dive one day on foreign cinema. But
I would love that.
Should we move swiftly on to the other topic that I cited in? Did I cite at the start? I did say we were going to talk about this, didn't I? Harry Potter. Yes. The first look and first trailer launched earlier this week of HBO's redo of Harry Potter, which is interesting because that's a franchise we grew up with in cinemas, and it's now being remade to make us feel old. But they're going to be doing a book per series. This is going to be 8 episodes for the Philosopher's Stone.
Great.
There's rumours of it costing $100 million per episode, which is quite frankly ridiculous.
That's
you have a Harry Potter pun for you there. Showrunner is, let me look at my podcast notes here. I've got it. Francesca Gardner, who is from Succession, wrote for Succession.
Phenomenal.
And a director of multiple episodes of Harry Potter and also an executive producer alongside Gardner is Mark Mylod, who's also directed multiple episodes of Succession. So you've got them making it. We saw a trailer. Bits of it looked similar to the films. Bits of it looked different. We saw more glimpses of stuff from the books. We know it's 90s set. We had a look at John Lithgow's Dumbledore, Janet McTeer's McGonagall. We saw the Sorting Hat. We saw Nick Frost as Hagrid, and we saw Papa Essedu as Snape, possibly looking cooler than any living being on the planet. Anyone against that casting can go fuck themselves.
Yes, correct.
And that was kind of, Snape was this cool. Alan Rickman is one of the coolest people to ever have lived. He looked cool as fuck as Snape.
Yeah.
Papa Essedu looks cool as fuck and like sinister and slimy, and that's the whole point of Snape. So
that's the character.
There we go. This is going to be an interesting conversation because I love Harry Potter, despite She Who Must Not Be Named evolving into sort of this Twitter hate merchant.
Yeah,
I love the material. I loved the films. I grew up kind of adjacent to the actors playing the main trio. I mean, they're a couple of years older than us, aren't they? So it means quite a lot to me, and it's I'm coming at it from I don't know why I don't want them to remake it, because it's I feel like ownership of the original films. At the same time, I'm really intrigued to see them do it in this format. I
Yeah.
thought the trailer looked lovely. I mean, you can see they're pouring a lot of money into it. It looks really high quality. And we'll get more from the books, although I can't really remember. I'll be like, okay, do I remember reading this bit? And so there's all that. But you sort of disliked Harry Potter before it was cool to do so.
I was the original ringleader of that. Not with any sort of hatred. It was more apathy, completely.
And you think it's quite derivative, I would, of other
I do, and I think
stuff that came before it, perhaps.
It's borrowed very, very liberally from, which I think everything is a remix. I appreciate that, but when you have tentpole franchises like Star Wars, and you have, I mean, it borrows from everything that I certainly was watching, and I'm sure it is the case with you, of Faraway Tree, The Railway Children, Star Wars. As I said, that it is this amalgam, and I never personally felt the benefit of these things converging in one space, because I'm quite a literal person, and certainly when I was a kid, I would tend towards stories that were grounded in reality, because that's just what I enjoyed. So reading through the books, I think the books are great. I think it's annoying in hindsight, but the books are great. The writing is great, so I can appreciate it from that point of view. And I think the films are well made. I've seen them all. I used to go to the cinema. We used to go on school trips. I have a special fondness for what is objectively a great film, which is The Prisoner of Azkaban. I think, remove all other Harry Potter-ness, that is just a great film.
That is a great film.
I love it. And I would argue that the last film is also great, but that's also, you get so much payoff that, like, I enjoy it for what it is. But magical, I've got a wand and I'm flying around on a broomstick, and it's just, ever since I was like 6 years old, couldn't give a shit. I just don't, it's just not for me. However, I think as a cultural institution, and I think remove it from the goblin monster that now exists.
Well, yes.
Get rid of that. I think it's transcended her, and it is now owned by the fans. And we, as a generation, had that. And exactly as you say, we got to grow up with that and go, I was at school at the same time.
Going to do the same with this one.
And I think that's only right. Because
obviously,
go on.
It will make a lot of money for HBO, you'd imagine, as well.
What's interesting to me is that now on Amazon Prime, of which obviously I spend a lot of my time now, HBO Max is now a subscription on UK's
isn't it?
Prime. So they are gearing up.
It's now included in your Sky box as well. If you've got Sky, HBO's included, which makes sense because previously HBO shows would go to Sky Atlantic.
Crossover, yeah.
So it's interesting that they've kept that. Yeah, I think on the J.K. Rowling thing, people obviously critical of why is the show being made that's going to put more money in J.K. Rowling's pocket, when given she's got these controversial and particularly negative views towards the trans community, who by and large, I would say the Harry Potter fandom, there's probably a portion of that is trans and maybe really relates to these books, because you've got characters who are maybe ostracized or othered who become heroes in that series of books. Whether or not this series is going to be made, J.K. Rowling is going to be making a lot of money for the rest of her life, because these books are probably the best-selling books, year on year, or among them. It's like Narnia, it's like Lord of the Rings, it's like Agatha Christie.
Exactly.
These books will be sold for them. So whether there's a series or not doesn't really make a difference.
He will be a multi-millionaire regardless.
Yeah, and Andrew Garfield said something really interesting in an interview, because he's recently watched the films, and he said, but you've got, and this is what I think is really impressive about the films, is how incredibly crafted they are, from like production design, costume, the effects, practical and special effects, the acting talent, just the amount, and also it being a particularly British effort. which I'm kind of assuming it was shot up in, is it Leavesden or Pinewood or wherever?
Leavesden, I think.
That I think really should be celebrated. And that's kind of what Andrew Garfield was saying. But there we go, Harry Potter. I'm going to watch it. It's coming out at Christmas, which was sooner than we all thought.
That is true.
It said Christmas 2026, so I'm assuming it means Christmas Day. But they just said Christmas.
I think I read somewhere it was.
So I was like, is it Christmas Day or is it just the festive that around that time?
How phenomenal would it be? Because
if it comes out on Christmas Day, it'll be the most watched. I mean, guarantee it doesn't matter what day it comes out on, but it'll be the most watched thing.
Easy. For our non-UK listeners, we have a TV channel called ITV who every Christmas or in the weeks leading up to Christmas play a Harry Potter movie on a Saturday from 5 till 8 or whatever. And they do all 8 films in the run-up to Christmas. So jumping on the bandwagon of that, I don't know. My only hesitation with it, I think Hagrid looks great. I think the kids look like, it all looks like the world. It all very much feels like Harry Potter. You can feel the love that's been poured into it. John Lithgow as Dumbledore will be great because he is a great actor.
Correct. He looks really cool as well.
He looks really cool. He looks like Richard Harris's.
Yes, I thought so.
They've dressed it up, which is nice.
He's an old guy, though.
He's an old guy, and I mean,
this also, I've seen conflicting reports saying they're going to try and get it done in 10 years. For 10 years for 7 series of series that are this big, typically doesn't happen because I'm seeing other reports saying it's going to be 2 years between each one. If it's 2 years between each one, we're taking 14 years, and they're going to be in their mid to late 20s by the time they're meant to be 17.
Playing a 12-year-old,
And I've seen other things that apparently they may be filming the seasons back to back. If you film them back to, it's really difficult, isn't it? I think maybe film back to back, have a little break, film back to back is maybe possible. But if they're doing it in 10 years, that's intense because it's 8 episodes a season. It's likely to go up with the books when the books get bigger.
Well, this is very.
It's trying to keep the cast young. It's going to be so expensive to keep making them that quick.
Especially if they're saying 100 million an episode, which is, I think, what Game of Thrones was topping at the end of its run. So, you hasten to think, okay, well, what happens in Series 7? Series 7 when it's all out war and it's kind of the death of Voldemort and the toppling of Hogwarts and all of that mega. I mean, even the Triwizard Tournament in number 4. That's big.
Yeah, it's not even like, oh, it's fine. They can film in big clusters and it's the effects work that will take longer. It's the practical work in the films and in this series is huge.
Yeah,
it's going to be so intensive. But I'm excited to see them pull it off. And also, who the hell do they get to play Voldemort? I don't really know, given that it was Ralph Fiennes. I saw Paul Bettany was quizzed on it at a red carpet and was quite coy.
Ooh.
I think that'd be quite good. It needs to be someone of that.
I'm still Team Cillian Murphy because I think
Cillian Murphy. I don't know if he'd want to do it. It's like 8 months a series, isn't it? But I guess Voldemort's not really in it much.
No, he's more. It's the kind of hanging spectre of. But to hinge on your point about Ralph Fiennes owning that role with nobody else playing it other than whoever the CG head on the back of Quirrell. For somebody that doesn't like Harry Potter, my God, put me in a pub.
You know a lot about it, don't you?
Most of them right, apparently. I can't remember who said it, but it's not dissimilar to Hamlet, where it's somebody's interpretation. You get to pass these roles on.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of looking forward to it in that aspect.
Which kind of buys into the whole, he comes in that 4th film, in Goblet of Fire, Ralph Fiennes comes in and owns it like a stage.
So good.
And he's so good.
It is theatrical.
But there was an episode we had, me and Oscar, a couple of episodes ago, we did Best of British, and I put him up there as my
best British actor. I totally back you in that, yeah.
So yeah. Should we say that's mischief managed on Harry Potter and move on to another topic?
Nice little,
I did that.
nice
That's good,
little
wasn't it?
pun there. I like that.
Yeah, we'll switch and flake into the next segment, which is Spider-Man.
Far From Home.
No,
Brand New Day.
Brand New Day.
Sorry,
The
I'm like
new
5 years
trilogy set in motion. This is being directed by Daniel Cretton, who did Shang-Chi, which Marvel made and they completely fucking forgot about.
Which is a great.
We've done our Asian lead film, and that's all you get.
That's all you're
Sorry, everyone involved in that film who made a really pretty competent Marvel film. We don't want to continue with you. But the director's come back. Yeah. He was originally meant to be doing Avengers.
He was. Yes, he was. Secret Wars.
The Russo brothers. Well, the next one's Secret Wars. Doomsday, then Secret Wars. It was going to be called the Kang Dynasty, wasn't it? Before Jonathan Majors did all that. He just got married. Anyway, Spider-Man Brand New Day. The trailer launched fairly recently. Was it in the past week? I can't remember.
It was in the past week.
The biggest trailer launch of all time. Apparently over 1 billion views in a very short amount of time. There seems to be a lot going on. Punisher's in it. Bruce Banner's in it. Scorpion's in it. You've got Peter Parker mutating and becoming more webby. You've got, what else going on? Sadie Sink's playing a character we don't know about. Peter Parker, obviously, nobody knows who he is anymore because of that spell from the last film, including his best mate and his on-screen partner and off-screen wife, Zendaya's MJ, who I think is the coolest person in the world, other than my wife. But Zendaya's really cool.
Nice.
She's just really cool.
She's a very cool person.
She's a cool person. So I'm excited to see her in the drama with Robert Pattinson.
Our Pats.
That looks like it'd be good fun. But yeah, I think that this film, based on, well, it looks like it might be overstuffed based on the trailer. There's a lot going on. I'm really hoping it's not. I'm really liking it to Spider-Man in New York City, being a loner, and it feels more like the Tobey Maguire ones.
A little bit more grounded.
A little bit more grounded, yes. Less MCU-y. And I think that this could potentially be, I mean, based on the trailer reaction, I think this could be the biggest, I think this could be one of the biggest films of the year. We'll see what happens with Avengers down the line. But I think this could initially probably be like biggest box office opening of all time.
Big
territory. Because everybody loves Spider-Man. Everybody turns out for Spider-Man, even like the non-Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not keeping up with Marvel, if you see Spider-Man, everybody turns up, don't they? So I think big things could happen.
I'm very excited for some of the theories that I've read, and two are properly standing out for me, which is who's so the next version of Hamlet, Daniel Lawrence, taken over from Tom Holland. Sadie Sink's character, obviously, we don't quite know who she is. Initial reports were maybe is she Silver Sable?
Jean Grey's been another one.
Jean Grey, I think, is really because they need to start building in the mutants. I mean, we've had Beast in a post-credit cutscene.
Yes, and they're all coming into Doomsday, but that's like a multiverse thing because it's the old school X-Men.
Hell yeah.
Which is like, I mean, people like teenagers going to watch Doomsday and seeing Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen on the screen, be like, who the fuck are they? That film came out. X-Men: The Last Stand came out 20 years ago. Days of Future Past, when they came back for a little fun do-over, was 12 years ago.
Was that 20? That's 2014, isn't it?
Yes. Even James McAvoy is like old hat.
Yeah, 2011 would have been First Class.
The last X-Men movie was Dark Phoenix. Which was quite awful. So awful that quite often I forget about it. But yes, you're excited for Jean Grey and potential entry of the X-Men.
I'm excited on that, but it does then swing back to what you were saying a second ago of overstuffing. However, with a Spider-Man film, because they know it's so big, No Way Home effectively was an Avengers level film because it was so massive, and I know that they're trying to distill it into a street level kind of smaller film, but $1 billion franchise, you can't do that. Maybe your first act is I'm sad, I'm Spider-Man, which I'm looking forward to that take, because the first 3 films have been bright, sunny, happy, save for a couple of very key story beats, the death of Aunt May, for example, where you see Tom Holland's range. I'm not calling his Spider-Man one note, because I don't think that's the case at all, but it's certainly erred on the happy, positive, I am a superhero vibe, that I think it will be really interesting to see the sadder, morose, depressed, I've lost my girlfriend, I've lost my best friend vibe. The other theory that I'm very much looking forward to, and I used to watch, it's 7 o'clock, 7:15 every school morning, was, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called The Amazing Spider-Man. It was an animated TV show that I would watch. And there was a couple of episodes that fully freaked me out because he turned into an actual spider.
Cool.
I would love it if it went down that really morose, this is a dream scenario for me, side of things, where he does actually mutate into Spider-Man. Yeah, it goes in that kind of, he's got a
there's the thing in the trailer about, like, if you can survive this genetic mutation, you're like reborn.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether we'll see some sort of gooey body horror, and then he comes out the other side looking like Tom Holland again. Yeah. There's bits in the trailer where, like, you saw his eyes blacking over and stuff like that.
I'm excited. So there could be
some freaky shit going on.
Fingers crossed.
That'd be cool. I'm excited. I'm more up for that. I'm really up for that than I am with Doomsday. Doomsday, there's some sort of morbid fascination of seeing how they pull all these pieces together.
Is it going to be a collection?
And also, I just think, I mean, Endgame was this one brilliant crescendo and end point on this big thing that they'd been building up to. Yeah. And obviously, they've just sort of been meandering and floundering all over the place. There's not been this build up to this Doomsday that has. I mean, they tried to pull it off with the little quadruple of teaser trailers at the end of last year. But again, that's waned off. That's kind of, I'm not really bothered. Another thing that I'm not really bothered on, but I want to talk about it a little bit, is the live action Moana. Disney's live action. And this comes... I didn't mention about this. Harry Potter, it did look quite grey. It was saturated.
Yes.
Some saturation going on. And in live action Moana, it looks saturated compared to the incredible animated film. And Moana 2 only came out 2 years ago, and we're getting a remake of the original Moana in live action.
When was the original?
A Moana 3 in animation. Like, I mean, have you seen the trailer for this? And Dwayne Johnson's wig?
It doesn't look good.
It does not look good. As I said, it's not as colourful. It looks like it's all been shot in a fucking, the volume that they do, like Mandalorian in, and presumably did the new Mandalorian film in. It's just some of these live action Disney remakes really get it right. So, like, for example, I think Jungle Book.
Amazing.
Obviously, the original Jungle Book, quite an old film. And that was brought back really faithfully to a completely new generation. Brilliant. Then, obviously, they sort of completely bungled Snow White, which should have been done to the level, I think, of like Jungle Book, in terms of Snow White is obviously an ancient classic back to like the dawn of Disney in a feature film stage. And I don't think they really took care of the property. And obviously there was probably the worst marketing campaign of all time for a film. Luckily for Rachel Zegler, she's really talented, and just went and did Evita on stage and was like, put that behind her and was like, I'm really fucking talented. So I don't, I can move on from this.
She was great in Hunger Games as well.
Yes.
So I think it's not. Yeah. Cinderella in 2015 does not get spoken about enough.
That was good.
Loved it.
That was good. Kenneth Branagh directed that.
Kenneth Branagh, and any film, any feature film with Rob Brydon in it, even if it's a 5-minute cameo, I'm all in. Love it.
And them desperately trying to get rid of Richard Madden's bulge. It's Richard Madden, isn't it? It's Prince Charming. I think I read somewhere that they had to CG out his bulge. But this is a Disney movie.
Incredible.
I remember I put that on one day and I was like, fuck. I just sat there and kept watching. It was great. That was really good. It's just Moana's so good. It feels really recent. We've only just had a sequel. And also, this just looks really cheap. It looks cheaply done. It looks like they've done it. It really quickly. Does. They haven't put a lot of care into it. I mean, obviously, it would drag people out. I was talking to someone at work who's got like young kids. I think I don't know if they're going on the boy or whatever, but they're like 9 and 11 or whatever. And I said, "You're going to be going to see that." He went, "Yep."
I have no choice.
They'll want to see it, won't they? Yeah. So it has its place there, I suppose. And I guess if it does well, then it's getting people to the cinema. Maybe seeing some trailers for some original stuff.
True. But from an artifact point of view, if you're you need to build on, and this is a dream artsy take, but if your original property is so beloved and so great and also really recent, then anything as an offshoot of that, if it is live action, if it's a stage adaptation, whatever it is, needs to be done with heart. Because you're only as good in recent cinema, in my opinion, you're only as good as the last shot you took. So I think if this Moana film is shit, will it have a negative impact on the rest that kind of devalues the brand itself? Because the next thing that will come out, which they could have plans for a live action Moana 2, they could be doing a animated Moana 3, don't know. Does it devalue the rest and make you?
Yeah, I think. Well, if it's probably going to be, the screen. It's going to be the exact same screenplay because it's the same writers and stuff.
Fun.
It's being directed by a chap who directed the televised cinematic version of the Broadway Hamilton show and did Grease.
Oh, fun. Okay.
I think it's a debut feature film direction job for him.
Pretty big one to take on.
But it's going to be like the How to Train Your Dragon remake. It's going to be note for note. It's going to be exactly the same. It's not going to do anything different. So it would be about how it looks, and obviously Dwayne Johnson's wig's not a great start. Especially it looked like an advert or a sketch.
Yeah,
didn't it? In terms of the way it was lit, the way it was presented.
Yeah,
but maybe they could react to that with a bit of color grading, couldn't they? But it comes out in July, so I don't know if they haven't really got any
July. I thought it was later on. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's July. That's what my notes say. Unless I was.
No. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I don't know.
Have I got July? Yeah, I've got July. I think it obviously is a musical, isn't it, Moana? So it will live and die on like how good they do the musical numbers.
I remember going and watching the first one in the ABC in Bournemouth before that shut down. And it was, I'm sure it was around kind of Christmassy time.
Probably.
I think it was around kind of November, December. And we went and saw it because we wanted to go to the cinema and we didn't really know what was on. So we went, we'll go and see the new Disney film. Came out, loved it. Genuinely fantastic, and it comes back to, yes, the songs are fantastic, the animation's great, it's funny, it's charming, it's full of heart, but it is that really classic Disney, beautiful colors, beautiful. I mean, the volcano scene, and you've got all the kind of lava and the blues, and I think you're absolutely right in noticing a trend, which is the washout of everything.
And why are Disney doing that in their live action films? I don't understand it.
They're the bastions of
make it as colourful and as wonderful, which I think Cinderella does quite well. Like, you remember how blue
gown, yeah.
What's the actress's name?
Lily James.
Lily James.
Yeah.
Yes. That like shines off the screen, doesn't it? That dress. And stuff like that. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm assuming we're getting a live action Frozen at some point.
That's older, because what's that? 2011, 2012.
Yeah, Moana came off the coattails of that, didn't it? Like, they had an absolute massive hit with Frozen. And can you imagine how fucking grey the live action Frozen will be? They'll make that. They'll make that so bleak. It'd be like watching that Lord of the Rings series. It'd be like watching Rings of Power. It'd be that grey. It'd be like watching the final season of Game of Thrones. When she goes to her castle, you'd be like,
washed out.
"Where the fuck is she? I can't even see her." Oh, she's singing "Let It Go." Right.
Nonsense behaviour.
They're doing a live action Tangled as well.
That's fun.
They've cast relatively young actors in the leads, and then Catherine Hahn's playing the mother.
That's fun.
It's really good.
That's a fun casting.
But the chap they've cast is Flynn Rider. He's like a Disney guy. He's like
like from shows,
Disney shows and stuff. Nice. And he's got the look. He's a handsome guy. And the girl's not been in a lot. She's only been in a couple of things. So it'd be nice if that's really colourful. But again, Tangled is so. I love that film. I think that film's incredible. And it's like the animated medium needs to be celebrated. And it's just Disney playing it safe, isn't it? Like, come on, you got into a really good rhythm of Frozen, Moana, Tangled, Brave Pixar. But anyway, it's kind of all in the same place, isn't it? Lean back into that. Come on, just give us some brand new animated films that are really good, really brave, rather than just falling back on this trope of live action do-overs. But anyway, rah! That's my little
I'm going to challenge that for a second in what we were saying on Harry Potter, which
giving it to a new generation.
Giving it to a new generation, and I think have love and respect for the animated film, and I think that's important for children, absolutely. And certainly the worlds that I work in of books and translating books into animated films, that's what you want, and that does obviously engage children and is massive. But I think if you come at it with respect for the property and to do it with the heart of, yes, no, you're going to make $1 billion, congratulations, fuck you, but doing it for the audience, so going back to your classic properties, I would love a live action remake of the 70s Robin Hood. I would love that.
I swear I read recently that they've sort of canned plans to do that or something.
Because would you do
it with like the fox? Would you have
animated foxes
or something going around?
Absolutely, I think that would be amazing.
I think that would be freaky. Like a human.
You could make it freaky,
like CGI.
I think the technology is there that you can make that really great. Same with Lady and the Tramp.
I think it would look really. I think we're getting into. I think it would be either really creepy or it will be sort of unintentionally kinky. I think there's no way around it. The fox is handsome, right? In Robin Hood,
this is true,
and his fox wife is sexy. So
I think you might be outing yourself on the internet here.
Come on, everybody knows that. It's like if you watch Zootropolis, everybody finds the fox fit, and the bunny cute.
I've never passed judgment on the fox.
Sorry, but anyway, I think that could be the reason they're not doing the live action Robin Hood, because they just can't put
fine that it's a bit
humanoid fox on screen. It'd be weird. Can you imagine who's turning up for the screenings of this film?
Well, families, Daniel.
Families and furries, and it just won't coalesce.
I can see. All right, fine.
Only screenings.
I see the argument you're making.
But you know what I mean?
But fine.
I just think it would look creepy.
Taking a classic property and doing it with heart is what they should be doing.
And nobody wants to see CGI dogs making out over spaghetti.
I do. That's my favourite one.
Nobody wants to see it. Some things have to stay in cartoons. Animated. Sorry.
Live action Cars, which is F1.
That'd be really weird.
Yeah.
F1 the 2V.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is what they're going to have to call it.
The 2V.
F1, yeah. F1 the 2V.
I like it.
2 F1, 2 Furious. I don't know.
That's silly. F2.
Well, because that's the Judas series. It's bollocks, isn't it? That would suggest, like, what's the fifth one in the franchise going to be called? Formula Regional. Like, it just the sixth one, go-karting. You know, like
What's the electric motorsport league?
Formula E.
There we go.
Yeah,
Little
that'd
offshoot.
be wouldn't it? Lift and Coast, the movie. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting into Formula One and motorsport nerdism. We had another thing on my item on my agenda, and we've already been talking. We've been talking for a long time. I saw a trailer for a film, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But I'm kind of seated because it looks like it could either be terrible, or it could be some sort of like cult gem that sort of lasts the test of time but tanks in the box office. These are my two predictions for this film. It's a film called The End of Oak Street, which is coming out in August. I knew nothing about this until I saw a trailer of Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor as a married couple with two teenage kids or two younger kids. And their street, Oak Street, has basically been transported somewhere or displaced in time or geographically or whatever. And they're like all scared about it. And you're like, oh, where has it been? And then at the end, you hear screaming, running, and you're looking through the living room out the windows, and there's a dinosaur chasing them.
Incredible.
I'm just like, oh my God, this is batshit. And it's written and directed by a chap called David Robert Mitchell, who's I guess most known piece of work is It Follows, the horror film, stalker horror film that you're a big fan of.
Yeah.
And it's produced by J.J. Abrams, who has so far been paid a lot of money by Warner Brothers to do nothing. So it looks like he's finally doing a bit of work. Yeah, I mean, it's just as a property, I thought I'm actually all here for it because it doesn't really feel like the sort of film that gets made these days on big screens. I wonder if we're getting to a point now, or we're going back to a point of maybe because everything's compared to 2019, isn't it? Because that was like everything was going up. COVID kind of tanked everything. Strikes kind of made everybody stumble. And we're coming out of all of that period, and it looks like we're trying to catch back up to pre-2019
where we were.
A lot of movies were coming out, and it just feels like it's an interesting swing, and it's nice that it's Warner Bros. Doing it. And I think Warner Bros. Obviously came off the back of a really successful 2025. Yeah. Looks like they're still trying to make swings. Like The Bride was a big swing, hasn't paid off, but maybe that might be a film that I predict might age well, just for being different. And I still want to go see it. I don't know if I can see it in cinemas, so I have to wait until it comes out. But anyway, what am I trying to say? It just looks like this film just looks mad, and I'm here for it.
What kind of genre are we looking at? Because from his previous work, he does good hybridization. So it's horror, yes, or stalk and slash horror, if we're using It Follows. But it is also that kind of coming of age, community building drama, like teen drama as well. That's quite a reductionist way of putting it, but effectively that's what it is mashed together.
Do we have a certificate for it?
It is fantastic.
I've got here for End of Oak Street on IMDb. It's the tags at action, adventure, mystery, sci-fi, thriller. It had a very, I mean, it's not surprising considering it's being produced by J.J. Abrams. It had a very Spielbergian sort of,
excitable wonder.
But sort of family, scary, kind of like what J.J. Abrams was trying to do with Super 8. But maybe not even as far as Super 8 was in terms of
Super 8
to freak people out. Yeah. But it had that sort of like, popcorn film from a
Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T.
It had that sort of, the original Jurassic Park. I mean, there's dinosaurs in it. It had that kind of vibe. Interesting to see a dinosaur movie. It's not Jurassic Park. So.
That is true. Or Velocipasta, which was slept on by too many people, and is the most 1-star / 5-star film you could ever watch. It's phenomenal.
Yes.
But if we look at J.J. Abrams, who shot to the stratosphere of filmmaking or studio commercial filmmaking,
rebooted Star Trek and Star Wars.
Phenomenal. Cloverfield and kicking off that franchise. the Cloverfield paradox, the kind of just off the cuff Super 8, as you say, off the cuff filmmaking that people just really respond to. And then, I mean, he co-wrote a book that's like a labyrinthine horror game thing. He's full lost. Yeah. So many great ideas, so many like, and an audience really, really responds to the work that he was doing. And it does feel post him signing that Warner Brothers deal and what happened with The Rise of Skywalker, which I think is the right name for the last Star Wars film.
Yes.
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, maybe he needs to. I think he was filming something with Glenn. Was it with Glenn Powell? He's directing a movie that was shooting, I think, towards the end of last year in Glasgow or something.
Let me have a look, because he really has not done anything.
I think J.J. Abrams was maybe just more of a victim of the Disney mishandling of that Star Wars trilogy, to be honest. I think, obviously, Force Awakens, he met the brief of let's rehash in terms of sort of rehash what worked with the original, very familiar story beats, but do it faithfully, do it and introduce this new set of characters. Did that really well. Obviously, then they went in a direction with Rian Johnson, didn't they? Who then was like, I'm going to do something drastically different.
I love that film.
Didn't like that, and then they came back, and J.J. Abrams sort of Frankenstein's monster conclusion to the trilogy, and everything felt very redacted, retconned, and.
Can I tell you a very fun little anecdote about my experience watching The Rise of Skywalker?
You can.
I come from a split family, not a woe is me scenario, but that effectively means that any tentpole cinema I have to watch 3 times. One with a younger brother, one with one side of the family, one with another. So Star Wars, the Marvel films when they were churning out hits, that kind of thing. So I went and saw, and the only Star Wars film I've only ever seen once is The Rise of Skywalker. I was sat next to my younger brother, Joel, who had already seen the film and seemed somewhat bemused of having to see it again. And there is a line about 20 minutes into the film, which Princess Leia says to Rey, which is, don't be afraid of where you've come from. And we already know that Palpatine's back, all that nonsense. So I turned to my younger brother and I said, if Rey and Palpatine are related in any capacity, we are leaving the theater. And he looked me dead in the eyes and he said, we best be off then. And I knew from that moment, and it's a 2.5 hour film. So I was like, I've got another 2 hours and 10 minutes of this, and I already know I hate it.
Palpatine coming back was so lazy. Like, what the hell was? And then Snoke was just some weird clone or something, and then her being related to him was lazy. Her making out with Kylo Ren, then becoming good again, doing like the Darth Vader thing, was lazy. Then making out was weird. The ending was basically exactly the same as Return of the Jedi. Of him going, strike me down and become, look out the window or your friends are dying. It's like you're doing all the same shit.
And as we were saying about,
then the whole bit of like, they're on that island now, on that planet where the Death Star had crash landed, and she's like, "Oh, it just so happens I'm still in the exact right place to
go and get this random thing, the magic key."
Obviously, John Boyega's character was kind of written out of the trilogy. Became so insignificant towards the end.
The worst handling of anything ever. I think that is commercially one of the worst. I think it might be the worst franchise film ever. And I think that you're right. I genuinely believe that it is so. I just think it is so terrible. I know that it's having this weird resurgence of like, oh, we were too cruel online. We weren't cruel enough. You're right.
Some people said like in 10 years' time, it'll be like with the prequels.
No.
They're getting a bit of love now. I think I don't know whether this prequel love is just coming from nostalgia, because if you put them back on, yes, they're a laugh, but they're not good.
They're not good.
Revenge of the Sith is probably
best of a bad bunch. It's best of a bad bunch, is what it is.
Has a lot of meme material and a lot of. But
we watched it together about a year ago, and we spent most of that runtime doing our best Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at a screen impression because of just how stacked it is with memes. And so I think it's a joy in that respect. But this, no, absolute
and this
shit.
Is where, the whole sort of thing with Star Wars now. We've got the Mandalorian. We've had all these Disney Plus shows, which middle from being competent to nostalgia baiting to just being downright dull or just a bit rubbish. The Mandalorian and or aside, which criminally I've only watched a few episodes of, but you can kind of tell it's pretty cool. And obviously everybody's raved about that. And Rogue One was a nice sort of
best of a bad bunch.
Best of a bad bunch, yeah. So obviously they tanked it with the films, then they've had to retread onto the small screen. But The Mandalorian is fairly plotless. Not a lot happens, and then we're getting a film out of it. It's like, are we just going to get a 2-hour version of a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian? It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
That's long.
It's so. Star Wars used to be this thing that was so hotly anticipated, and it's been very diluted. Its impact, I think.
I'm not sure when it comes out.
Mandalorian, it's in May.
Wow.
We've got Star Wars Starfighter film coming in.
Is it next year?
Yes. I just think we need a completely. I think there is someone working on. Well, and then you've got Dave Filoni's taking Kathleen Kennedy's job, but he's just sort of just on this mission to just bring all his like obscure Clone Wars characters into live action. Who, if you're a fan of the animated series, which is I think quite a niche audience. It's not a widespread audience. It's like you're not serving the wide public. Don't know who like Jilbo Blobspot is, like But I think Simon Kinberg is writing a trilogy, and he wrote Rebels, and also I think maybe wrote a few X-Men things.
That's how I think he did First Class and
wrote those perhaps. So we'll see. I think it's obviously a very deep world, isn't it? And I feel like you could just create something completely new. With those the themes and the very classic storytelling elements of good versus evil that made the original trilogy so successful needs to kind of come to the fore, I think.
Yes, rather than
them putting out Mandalorian and Grogu, and then Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling next year, directed by Sean Levy. If those two are duds or not very good, then immediately you've come back onto the big screen and you've kind of screwed the pooch. And then how do you then build up the anticipation again for this trilogy of films?
Do you think if they are damp squibs, if they suck? Do you let it die? Do you give it another? Do you
have to keep making Star Wars stuff though.
Otherwise, do they lose the rights?
Keep making stuff. Not lose the rights, but they just have to keep making money out of it. In terms of obviously the Disney model is to make stuff, merchandise it, keep going. How many Grogus have been sold?
This is very, very true. He even appeared at the Golden Globes. He was in his own little seat next to Kate Hudson.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So
it was all very charming.
I was speaking to someone at work who was basically going to see the film because of Grogu being cute.
I respect that. I think that will be.
They then got a bit down when I started saying doomsdaying about it and saying like I don't think it's gonna be any good. I was like, don't let that impact your enjoyment of it. Go out and enjoy it.
I just think it's going to be shit.
But by all means,
have your stupid interest.
You
fucking loser.
I actually felt really bad because that wasn't. I was just maybe trying to. I was trying to lower. I don't know if I was trying to lower his expectations for him, but I don't know whether. But then expectations also subjective, isn't it? So.
But you've been left jaded by and it will swing into the very same thoughts we were having on Harry Potter, which is you've been left jaded by something that is really, really important from your childhood that did not live up to expectations, not because your expectations were too high, but because what was put out in that 6-year period or whatever was of such poor quality that how can you be hopeful? How can you hold on to?
I mean, Force Awakens, I thought was a triumph.
Loved it. Thought it was great.
Yeah, really great. It was tactile. It was obviously familiar to A New Hope in a lot of ways, but really joyous. Brought in a whole bunch of new characters.
Very colourful.
And then it was colourful, yes. And Rogue One, I thought was brilliant. I really enjoyed Rogue One. So I should probably go and binge watch Andor. I need to have a baby, and then I'll binge watch Andor. And then, but then I really disliked Solo. I just thought
Solo was pretty bad.
You can't be remaking something where Harrison Ford has been the iconic. Oh, someone's knocking on the door.
Ooh.
Cut. I'll be back.
It's a delivery.
It was a postman. One of my cats has dropped off something absolutely nuclear in the litter tray, which I need to go sort out in a minute. What were we talking about? Yeah. Why if you can't recast a Harrison Ford role? Sorry, he's too iconic. You can't. Unless it's something that's
unless performance
or something like that. Yeah, fine. But like
Indiana Jones,
Han Solo, Indiana Jones,
Solo, Deckard,
Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Deckard. Yes.
Yeah.
You can't do that, which is why, unfortunately, for like Indiana Jones, they kept making them when he's really old, which doesn't really work.
That last one was the Wheel of Time,
Dial of Destiny. Close.
Close enough. Whatever.
The minute they said travel in time, I was like, oh no.
And then they do it.
I'm fine with all the biblical and mythological stuff, but you can't do time travel.
It was just very.
That felt beyond the rules set in Indiana Jones. The verisimilitude, if it were. Also, I'm just mad at that film for just shoving Marion off to a closing scene. I'm like, if old Indy can go around, then old Marion deserves to be, because their chemistry is great. And that was the best scene in the movie, was when he went to see her at the end.
I agree. There was some fun. No, it was a shit film.
There was the de-aged bit at the start was more fun, I thought.
Oh, and he meets Hitler in the car.
The train scene. He doesn't meet Hitler in the car. But Hitler's not involved.
Yeah, Hitler's in it.
Hitler's not in it.
Hitler is in it.
I don't think Hitler's
not actual Hitler. Like, they didn't cast Hitler in a acting role. There is a shot. There's a shot where Indiana Jones looks at Hitler, and you can tell that, and it's that great tense moment of, I could kill this guy right now.
Are you talking about The Last Crusade when he gives him the book?
No. Very new. I will die on this hill.
I don't think Hitler's in Dial of Destiny.
Hitler's in the Dial of Destiny. But it may be like a 30-second part of a scene, but Hitler is. I don't know how we've got Hitler.
Also, the film has Mads Mikkelsen in it as the villain, so that helps.
That does help. He is beyond phenomenal. Harrison Ford. When I went and saw Solo, I was in a small town just outside of Barcelona, and we went and saw it, and it was the overdubbed in Catalan version, of which I speak very little, read none, Catalan.
You just didn't know what was happening the whole time.
I just stared at the screen like, what is happening? But I think Ron Howard is a competent...
I was like that, and I was watching it in English.
I haven't watched it again. I just knew it was... I knew that it was bad. And then Paul Bettany's...
Alden Ehrenreich's a great actor.
Great.
But he's not Harrison Ford, and he doesn't sound like Harrison Ford. He doesn't particularly look like Harrison Ford.
No.
So I don't really... And also... I don't fucking need an origin story for Han Solo. You know who he is. Yeah. He's this cowboy in space.
His looks.
Who gives a fuck where he came from. I'm
Cash grab.
sorry, but this is a film
Cash
of
grab.
prequels. It's like people are like, oh, instead of doing a Harry Potter reboot, they should have done the story of his parents. No, they explain that in like a chapter of the book in 10 minutes in the films. We know what happens. They fight Voldemort and they fucking die. Why do I need that drawn out? I don't need that. I'm sorry. I don't care.
I completely
No
agree
Elvis
with you.
ends.
Yeah. It's not
Like,
right
there was a bit
for
in the film, in
exploration.
Solo. Sorry, you've really triggered me into a rant. We're going to end on a positive note after this, and I know we've segued and we've been talking for over an hour. Anyway, it's going to be a long episode. They do the parcel run. You know that throwaway. You know, there's that throwaway line in the original Star Wars. He did the parcel run in
Like 4
14 parsecs, which is funny
Yes.
because that's a unit of distance, not time, or whatever. And they do that. The Kessel run.
The Kessel, yes, yeah. Parcel run is what the Amazon guy does.
That's what the guy who just dropped off a package did. Yeah, it's because I was trying to. It had parsecs in my head. Kessel run. They do that in the film, and you're all like, "Oh my god, it's this famous thing that." No, fuck off. That's just an establishing bit of expository dialogue from 1977. It doesn't need a film.
Well,
It doesn't
here's
need
where
a
you're
film
wrong.
with really not compelling villains.
I remember there wasn't a script because I had to obviously judge it on screen presence. It made 400 million.
Okay.
So
had to judge on screen presence.
I had no idea what anybody. The only characters I did understand were C-3PO
Chewbacca.
and R2-D2 and Chewbacca because, yeah. But even then, I was like, well, I don't know what you're replying to. Oh, someone's been shot. Is effectively what was happening. So
and you had my god, there's so much that's wrong with that film. It's corny as fuck. Fuck. Sorry, I'm really angry.
Emilia Clarke.
I actually love Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite films.
100%.
Things like Solo really upsets me, and I'm sure there's people out there who enjoyed Solo, and I'm sorry that I've just been really mean about it. Anyway, should we end on a positive note?
I think we have to.
Have you got any recommend? I feel like I'm going to cry. Have you got any recommendations?
I'm still reeling from. I'm going to be putting Dial of Destiny on after this, just to clarify. Recommend just so I can find Hitler. Let me have a look at what. Right, do you know what? This is going to be really silly. The Harry Styles Live in Manchester Netflix special, right, is probably the most fun you can have at the moment, because I think what is coming out at the moment, we're gearing up towards a big summer. We're gearing up to great things coming out. The most fun, enjoyable thing I've watched is Harry Styles. And I'm not a Harry Styles fan. I'm a Harry Styles hater. I just had a lot of fun watching it. But I did also watch what I think has immediately shot up to one of my favorite films I've ever seen. There is a book it's a really nice story, but there's a book from the 1950s called Night of the Hunter, which is this fantastic story of a man robs $10,000 because he wants to feed his family and give his children a good life. He knows that he will be caught. He gives the money to his children, who is, I think the girl is like 5 or 6 and the boy is like 7 or 8. He gives the money, then he is caught by the police. The kids have to hide the money. He is then hung or shot for his crime. His cellmate is a man who pretends to be a preacher, who then comes to the children, ends up getting into a relationship with the mother, and effectively is there for the money. The book is fantastic because it's one of those classic kind of like children versus evil stories. Loved the book. When the book, just before the book was published, somebody read it, like a preview copy, and went, "This is so fantastic, I have to make this film." So they went and made the film, and they roughly came out at the same time. The film is phenomenal. It's Spielbergian in that kind of child-centered. You're rooting. It is real good versus evil, but you have the moral conundrum in the middle of the kids haven't done anything wrong. The dad has, but you understand why the dad's done it. And then you've got pure evil. The darkness of it, the lightness of it. The runtime is literally, I think, like 91 minutes or something.
Lovely.
Phenomenal. Genuinely phenomenal.
There we go. Remind everybody of the name of the film.
The Night of the Hunter.
There we go. We'll end on The Night of the Hunter then, shall we?
Nice.
Rather than me having a nervous breakdown. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Rhys, for joining me for an extensive friendly film.
Yeah, we did all right, didn't we?
This is an hour and 15 the recording's been going for.
We could do more.
We could do more, but I think I've got to go to a field and help shovel some horse poop. Anyway, yes, so thank you, Rhys, for joining me for our chat about a various amount of topics, more than we originally discussed prior to coming on. And then thank you, anyone who's made it as far as an hour and 15 minutes. Like, subscribe, do all of that. Comment if you agree with us on things. Comment if you disagree with us on things. Make sure you keep it friendly and festive. I don't know why I said festive, but keep it friendly. It's the festivity of spring.
I like it.
I feel like this is a good place to end because I am rambling. Should I use the clapper?
I think you should. I love the clapper.
It's good to... There's a cutting point.
As for
famously, classically, I think that's why they made them in the first place, isn't it?
Have they considered? Beautiful.